Manchester Derby. This was at the Theater of Dreams, so to speak. 3-0 win by City. Haaland with a pen in the 26th. He got another goal in the 49th. Foden in the 80th. All 3 points for City. There's 2 players, I will say this, for United that I was like, all right, they played very decent. I said in the chat, Onana had a yellow card, so his rating was going to be trash, but this guy had like 2 or 3 amazing saves throughout the game. He played really, really well. He plays really well against City, if everyone remembers the Champions League final. And my other thing is, the only thing that Ten Hag has figured out right now is that Scott McTominay needs to play advanced midfield. Like, he looked dangerous, like crazy dangerous. Outside of that, this team stinks. And the old saying is the fish rots at the head, and I know that ownership suck too, and every United fan would be the first one to tell you that, but I think that you wholesale maybe fire everyone. They need a full layoff, maybe take a couple weeks off, forfeit. Wouldn't be as embarrassing as some of the shit that went on in this game. I don't know, but they're a mess.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I agree. Like, them and Chelsea have so much similarities where there isn't a plan, and it's just the same thing. It's individual, and then they go out there and nothing works. And like, I should have probably looked this up, but like, Garnacho, is he injured?
No, he played.
He played. Like, he came on,
but he came off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a certain point where, and I get you can't go into tanking mode, but like, you got to change it up at some point and start trying to figure out what's working and what's not. And like, I don't know. They're just in a rut that I don't see them getting out of, and it's crazy. And I know it changes, but like how we thought they were in the right trajectory, and then now it's just like they need to. Because I think, Michael, you're probably going to this, what you texted Nick. Like, they need to rip it all down and start completely over again, which we've said probably, 5 times in the last 3 years about United, which is wild. But, like, they have to actually commit to it.
This is, though, like, we don't often get to see, like, a dynasty or, like, an empire fall, and they haven't won in a long time. But this is actually, like, the last days of Rome, I think, with this club. I think they are to the core a mess.
Like, when you say that, though, you mean like they're going to somehow not be in the Premier League in, let's say, 10 years type of thing? Or like they're just going to be... Because also, like, the Big Six might not actually really be a thing anymore with how things are going. But like, are we saying they're just a mid-table team at this point and not
I think that they were? I think that the money is too concentrated at the top, at like the Premier League compared to the other leagues, that like they have too much of it to get relegated. Like, I think that'd be crazy. I am now, though, how Michael is with Everton. I am with like that with these guys, and I'll get to that why I am. But like, I don't think it'd be possible for them to get relegated. I do think, though, 12, 13, around there. That's definitely a possibility coming up, for sure.
I don't think they're that bad, but. I just 12-13 is like Crystal Palace right now.
Yeah.
And I think they're better than Palace.
Are they better than us?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Wolves have an identity.
Without the referees on their side.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Look, their issue. I think John and I had a conversation about this where you texted me during that game and you said, are we sure Gvardiol's even good? Because he was like kind of fucking around a little bit. And I was like, yes, he's very good. He's 20 years old, 21 years old. He's an absolute animal. He's going to be a beast. And then I said, are we sure Marcus Rashford's even good? Because I think he has a goal and maybe an assist. And then if you look at the rest of that front line, those attacking players, there's not very much of anything up there. They have no way of scoring. They have one way of playing, and it's just outlet to Rashford. And with Højlund now, I think he's actually looked pretty good in some of these games. He's incredibly fast, but it's so predictable what they're gonna do that if you can just figure out how to stop it, they're not gonna score on you. And then I understand they have injuries, Varane, Martinez, and stuff like that, but God, that defense is terrible. I thought Amrabat was running around all game trying to put out fires, and it's just not they can't do anything. And if it weren't for Onana, it would have been like 6-0.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
It could have been 7-0 if Harry Maguire didn't hug. He literally gave a bear hug to Haaland maybe 7 different times in that game.
Okay.
And that was like the best defensive strategy I think that they implemented.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, because the penalty, which I think I'm fine with it being a pen, okay? But if you hear the announcers talking about it, they thought that was a penalty because they thought that Rodri had a reasonable chance of getting on the end of that ball, okay? Which is a subjective thing to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't love going to the monitor to referee that decision when the reason that, again, you probably should have had another one with how Harry Maguire was all over Haaland that one time. But they said he, wasn't anywhere near the play. And I'm like, bro, have you seen this guy, jump in the air and fucking scorpion kick the ball in the back of the net? You don't know what he's capable of doing. He was holding him for an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just hate that it's the subjective stuff that we're given a penalty for. He didn't hold his shirt. He just had his arm around him. I don't know. I think if you call it on the field, fine. But if you don't, I don't like changing it.
I agree. I think it's not a penalty on the field. I think when you go back and look at it, it's kind of like how we always say things in slow motion look worse than they are. The one thing I'll say is Rodri had a clear path. You see Højlund look at Rodri being like, oh, fuck, that was actually my guy. And then you see the arm go out, and then they're going to give it, whatever. So on replay, yes, it's a penalty. In real time, they didn't call it. I said to 3 different people, I was like, that's a really soft penalty. I had no doubt we were going to score anyway. The only other thing that I wanted to get to, and if there's more you guys want to say, feel free, but I think there's one other storyline here, is Bruno Fernandes does not deserve to be a captain of any Premier League team. I don't care if it's Man United. Forever. I don't care if it's Luton. Yeah, you have been early to this. And just scumbag human being behavior by him and Antony. Just kind of they were down by 3. Antony came on in the 87th minute, and then in the 2nd minute of stoppage time, takes a full-legged swipe at Doku. And I don't know, it's a fucking child. That's the first thing when I have a kid, I'll be like, don't do that. That's stupid. Don't be a little bitch. I don't know.
Well,
it pisses me off.
Did anyone ask, I want to know, because did anyone ask Ten Hag, listen, if you're fouling people, I don't think a manager should have to call for every single foul their player commits. But when it's so obviously you're just vandalizing somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would be like, so you brought on Antony in the whatever minute? What was his purpose of being out there? Was it just to fucking kick the shit out of people, for the most part? He's too busy worrying about the penalty changed the game. I have no comment about it. I mean, just ridiculous. I think that he was talking about Pep and Klopp's era. I think his era is over. I think they need to move on from him.
Yeah, I think that if I get the updates as often as I do and I see the results, this Man United team is in a better place at the table. There's better discipline, and there's an actual leader if Nick Tucker is manager of this team. I say that with a straight face. I swear to God. Nick, that was for you.
At least be a little bit of discipline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guarantee you Anthony went into the locker room and nothing was said to him. I think the inmates are running the asylum at this place. And,
well, it's been like that for a while.
Yeah. But I think, like I said, fish rotting at the head, I think that's the culture of Man United now.